Hey, stolen cousins. You already know what time it is. Animated horror stories. Animated horror stories. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna do a remix for the reaction. Don't be like I don't know the words yet because the animated horror stories just came to me naturally and just like flew off the tongue. But we'll figure something out for the reaction videos. And saying that because I've been posting more on the reaction video side, and well, obviously these are reaction videos, but these are reactions with horror stories. I am reacting with like regular stuff, not regular stuff, like I don't know, like other people's actual content, that makes sense, and some music videos sometimes, So if you're interested in that, just check out the reactions playlist because everything's in a playlist over here. So let's get into our nitty gritty. Four true animated gym horror stories. What is y'all doing at the damn gym? Leave people alone at the gym. If people at the gym and you at the gym and they ain't talk to you, leave that folk alone. Okay? But obviously, that's not the case here. So let's see what our homies SSG Animations got to say about that. They're gonna show us some crazy shit. Y'all could go over and go and support their channel and go subscribe afterwards. Yes. But as for now, we just gonna watch the video. Y'all gonna grab a blunt, a bottle of water, a bag of chips, and a blanket, please. So you can be snuggled and hydrated and have a snack while you know. And let's get into this, guys. Like I said, what is y'all doing at the gym? Leave folks alone. I'm excited. Mm-mm.
For a person who likes to work out, your gym becomes your sacred space. Take me, for instance. I never miss my gym, not even a day. Although I have a 9 to 5, I make sure that I hit the gym every single day. Now, you must know that I either go to the gym very early around 5 in the morning or as late as 8 in the evening, depending on my work schedule. The other day, however, when I went to the gym, I had to renew my membership. So I reached the gym by 4:30 a.m. I had to fill out the renewal form and then do my exercise. As I entered the gym, I saw no one except me there. Usually, there are a couple of gym rats like me that make it to the gym this early.
Okay.
However, it was eerily silent that morning. I went up to the office and asked the girl with the bright smile form I needed. She smiled at me and handed me the form. While I filled it out, she disappeared somewhere in the back rooms. Maybe to touch up her makeup, I don't know. But while I filled out the form, I noticed some kind of heaviness in the air. The temperature had suddenly dropped, and I felt like someone was watching me. The receptionist was nowhere to be seen, so I ignored the feeling and kept on filling out the form. That's when I heard a loud noise from the weightlifting section. I dropped the form and rushed to see if someone was there and if they needed help. But as I reached the section, all I could see were weights scattered all around me, but no one was there. That's when I noticed that there was a dark, shadowy figure in the corner that had orange glowing eyes.
It stared at me with murderous eyes, and I just stood there, shell-shocked.
The figure started approaching me, and I saw that it had no defined feet. It was as if it was floating in the air. It seemed to be of a man who must be at least 6 feet tall. Something kicked inside of me, and I bolted out of there, gathering my things on the way.
As you should.
I exited the gym. The girl was still nowhere to be seen, and this black shadowy figure lurked at the entrance of the gym, unable to get out. I returned home as this was a traumatic experience for me. For the next few days, I avoided the gym completely. Hell, I was even scared to do a single push-up at home. I tried to come up with explanations as to what I had experienced there, but nothing really made sense. A few weeks later, I finally convinced myself that I had seen things as a result of work stress and nothing more. That evening, I went to the gym, renewed my membership, and exercised for a while. It felt good to be there again amongst all the machines. I was so engrossed in working out that I did not realize that everyone around me had left at some point and that I was all alone there. Once again, there was a noise from the weightlifting section, and when I went there, half expecting to see the figure again, all I could see were scattered weights and no one else. The air was thick again, and it was cold. I knew what was coming, so I rushed out and left. This was the second time I had experienced something negative and possibly paranormal in that place. I read reviews of the gym on the internet, something I had not done before joining the gym. Not just one or two, but several ex-gym members had reported paranormal sightings or experiences similar to mine, and all of them had unenrolled themselves soon after. This was the only nice gym near my home, so I decided to talk to the owner of the gym. I booked an appointment with him. His name was Ronald Marshall. Mr. Ronald, I'm Pierce Jacobson, and I'm a member of your gym. I introduced myself to the joyful-looking man in front of me. How may I help you, Mr. Jacobson? Now, I know this may sound crazy, but I had a weird experience in the gym the other day. I narrated the whole story to him, and he listened to me patiently. We were sitting in his office. You know, Mr. Jacobson, you are not the first one to report this matter to me. Previously, several other gym members had also experienced similar things in the gym. I am well aware that this place is haunted. Before I built the gym here, there was a mental hospital on this ground. It was demolished and the place was bought by me because patients and staff members of the hospital had reported paranormal occurrences happening in the hospital too. When I built this gym, I thought it would put an end to everything. But that did not happen. I did everything in my power to rid this place of the evil that plagues it, but there is nothing much I can do. I got to know that you had renewed your membership earlier this week.
Evil.
All I can do is give you a full refund. Hearing the owner's words, I was shocked at how he had kept all his clients in the dark about this matter. But I liked the gym too much to go to another one, so I planned to take matters into my own hands.
Tell y'all that it's haunted?
I browsed the internet and found Harrison, a paranormal investigator who was an expert in dealing with such things. Harrison and I decided...
Harrison and I. That man told you he tried all he could. At his own damn establishment. So when that ghost start fucking y'all up, keep in mind that it's not, don't take that up with the owner. Because he told y'all that he tried everything he could and he couldn't get rid of the evil. So why you think you and Harrison about to get anything accomplished and completed? After that man said that he tried everything, he got the funds to get the same man that you calling right now. I'm sure he tried. And they got nowhere. But all right, whatever you say.
Paranormal investigator who was an expert in dealing with such things. Harrison and I decided to meet up in front of the gym on a Sunday when there are very few people in the gym. He had brought a few devices with him which supposedly helped with the investigation. Shall we begin, Mr. Jacobson? Sure, I said. First, we rounded the gym and his EMF device was passive all the time. It did not blink even once. It was clear that the evil entity was not around the place, but inside the gym. We entered the gym. As Harrison had done before, he walked up to every corner of the gym, but no external EMF was detected. There was only me, Harrison, and the smiling receptionist in the gym, and no one else.
Go by the way.
However, as soon as we stepped into the weightlifting section, the EMF device started to blink and beep.
Like, stop playing.
We had found what we were looking for. Harrison took out his EVP recorder, and on it, we both could hear as clear as day the words, "Leave this place now." The voice was guttural and deep, a man's voice. Although I was scared, Harrison was unfazed. He quickly understood what he was dealing with, but decided to perform a cleansing ritual there. The air around us was thick and cold, but Harrison continued to work. He burned some sage sticks and lit a few candles. Then he cleansed the place with a mild stroke of the burning sage. It was as if the smell of the sage had lifted the thick air and cleaned the place of the negative energy. When he was done, I could feel the positivity in the air. I have cleansed the place. The evil spirit won't return for a while at least. According to my knowledge, it must be the spirit of a person, specifically a patient who lost his life in the hospital. However, the cleansing process is not permanent. The entity may return again, so keep an eye over your shoulder whenever you work out here. Thanks for helping me out, Harrison. It's my job, Mr. Jacobson.
You up.
Saying this, we both left the gym. It's been 2 months since then, and I never once felt any presence in the gym. However, I am always aware of my surroundings, and I think this was the biggest lesson I learned from this experience.
Have you ever had a near-death situation? One of those situations where all your hope is lost and you think things can only go wrong? My name is Angela, and I suffered from that as a child. It all started once I was coming home from school with my mom. A strange man came out of the shadows and knocked her down with one blow. The man tried to kidnap me, but my mom stopped him.
Oh my God.
My mom told me to run as fast as I could and don't look back, and I listened. On the way home, I met my brother, to who I told everything and called the police. We never saw my mother again.
Oh.
Soon after, the criminal was caught and confessed to murdering her.
Oh.
He was sentenced to life imprisonment and never went out again. But the damage was done.
Boy.
Both my brother and I were left motherless. I grew up vowing that I would never experience anything like that again. I spent my whole life learning to defend myself.
Period.
I went to all kinds of self-defense courses and to the gym. I thought that no one would ever hurt me again, that I could defend myself against anyone. Until that day. That day proved to me that no matter how trained I am, no matter how long I go to the gym,
Girl, hurry up.
I am still at risk and will be all my life. It all started on an ordinary day at the gym. Since I was the fittest person and I knew the owner of the gym very well, he asked me to use the workout machines near the window. This was so that many people would see the gym and want to come in. Obviously, I was very flattered and agreed. After several weeks, I was used to this position. People would walk by, look at me for a second, and leave. Some would stare at me for a long time, but the moment I looked back at them, they would get intimidated and leave too. All except one person. Every afternoon before the gym closed, a strange man would come to watch me train.
Look, just like the
man didn't seem to be one of those people interested in the gym. He was really very skinny, scrawny. His skin was white, and his eyes were piercing. From the moment I first saw him, I noticed how he wouldn't stop staring at me for a moment. I thought that looking back at him would intimidate him,
she's a woman and
but
stronger than him.
The opposite happened. He just looked at me with more and more intensity. So much so that it made me feel very uncomfortable, and I looked away. After several nights of just looking at me and leaving, I began to fear for my own safety. I left the place in a hurry, thinking he might still be around. I don't know what I was afraid of, since if he tried to do something to me, I could incapacitate him in a matter of seconds. But even so, there was something about his gaze that made me think that I was at a disadvantage. Even though it made no sense that he could beat me in a fight, even if he had a knife or a gun, I could take it from him if he got close enough. Over the next few days, I asked the owner of the gym to work out further back, away from the window. Concerned, he told me it would be no problem. He asked me if he could help me with anything, but I told him I had the matter under control, although I don't really know if I had it under control. A few days later, I was still seeing the man. I couldn't exercise peacefully because even though I couldn't see him, I knew he was somewhere looking at me. It was just a matter of looking for him. Sometimes he was at the window, looking at me from afar. Sometimes he was on the side of the door, and in some cases, sometimes I would see him come into the gym and pass by me when I was lifting weights on a bench press, and I couldn't go face him. When I returned home, I felt stalked. I felt like I was prey to a stalker who would sooner or later do something to me. And truth be told, I was right. One ordinary day, After finishing my workout, I asked some friends from the gym to join me. They were huge and muscular. No one in their right mind would try to attack me that day. But just that day, I didn't count on the fact that my attacker was really out of his mind. I walked with my two huge friends, but all of a sudden, one of them started to walk slower. When we asked him what was wrong, he said he thought he was stung by a bee. But when he touched his leg, he realized it wasn't a stinger that hurt, but a dart.
He's drunken.
While we were in confusion, another dart came from a distance and was stuck in the arm of my other friend. None of us understood what was happening.
And y'all just
we all ran into an alley, but I noticed that my friends were finding it harder and harder to move.
Because they're about to
in
collapse.
Just a few seconds, they lost all their strength and fell to the ground
Keep
unconscious.
going, bitch. Keep going.
As soon as this happened, out of the darkness, my stalker came into view, laughing.
Y'all running toward him.
The man had a terrifying smile, identical to the one he always used to smile at me while I was at the gym.
Dart?
There was something about that smile that looked very familiar, but I didn't understand what it was. As I was thinking, the stalker came even closer to me and spoke to me.
Oh, Angela, how disappointing it must be for you that your huge friends have fallen so easily.
What?
Boy, you over here poisoning.
How do you know my name? What do you want? Instantly, the man shot me with a small pistol. Before I could react, I had one of those darts in my leg.
Bitch, that's all your fault.
Oh, don't worry. I didn't shoot you with the same dart I shot them with. I put much less tranquilizer on you. You probably won't be able to move, but you are conscious. I want you to be. I want you to witness all the things I'm going to do to you.
Oh, God.
Why?
Because I want to be famous, Angela. A whole generation of killers hunting a whole generation of victims. Isn't that fabulous?
My God.
For my father, Carl Mayer, it sure was.
That was the name of the one who murdered my mother. This was his son?
Oh, you're starting to get it. You know,
killer.
My son is your daughter's age. How long do you think it will take him to realize that my son killed her? Do you think I'll become famous? The police won't realize that my father killed your mother. Just like I'll kill you.
You are crazy. I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to run. I even wanted to insult him, but I couldn't. I thought that my only way out was to run. I thought my only salvation was to go back to the gym, but the man was blocking the way. I tried to walk dizzily and passed by him. He just ignored me and let me pass, laughing. After a couple of steps, he grabbed me by my hair and pulled me to the floor. With a huge, passive calmness, he started to step on me while laughing loudly. The man lowered his foot to my throat, and with a big smile and his eyes closed, he started to squeeze me. The pressure was getting tighter and tighter. I knew I could run out of air, but before that, my trachea would surely rupture. The man lifted his foot to stomp on it, and in the last seconds before I died, a huge man rammed into him.
Who was it?
The man was the owner of the gym, to whom I would warn when everything got out of control.
Shit.
And indeed, I did.
He was the only one that
I left my
knew.
cell phone GPS on and shared my location with him.
Good shit.
I knew this could save my...
Look at him about to beat Look at them about to beat his ass. You want to be just like your daddy, don't you? Don't you? Beat his ass, y'all. If you don't, share your location with a few people that you trust. Okay? That bitch was about to die. Everybody get bitches when I get, everybody get called bitch when I get too excited to, riled up. Old girl was about to die. Big, muscular, and I'm so sad at the way she's describing it because it's not like you couldn't have defended yourself. You were drugged. It's different. Being snatched and kidnapped. You were drugged. You were worried about your physical frame. You wasn't really thinking mental because anybody could have told you that, you could have got drugged and all your strength goes away when you're drugged. She just needed someone to tell her that, and then I'm sure she would have been practicing, worried about that too. She went to all them fighting classes. They ain't tell her that people be drugging folks too. But that's neither here nor there. Y'all better share your damn location. Share your location with somebody. Because I'm so proud of this man. The owner came back. Look at his face. Look at his face. He said, "What are you doing?" What? Oh boy, thought he wasn't about to get beat up by no big man. Now look at the big man coming back, helping their big sis. I love it. Let's go.
Got out of control. And indeed, I did.
Share your motherfucking
I left
location
my
with
cell phone
somebody.
GPS on and shared my location with him. I knew
Right.
this could save my
Look
life.
at him.
The
Headlong.
man knocked down the psycho. And while his companion came and called the police, he held the psycho back. After that, the man was arrested. He was also given a life sentence,
Good
as
shit.
it was discovered that the man had several victims. According to him, he was just practicing for when he would find me.
Ridiculous.
I was never able to rest easy again. I am terrified that this man's son will forever want to hurt my daughter, so we are always watching to make sure no one follows her. Sometimes I think how lucky I was that day, and that going to the
You
gym
almost
can
died,
save
sis.
you from a predator like that man.
It can.
We just have to always be on the lookout. Always look everywhere. When the time comes, maybe we'll be ready.
Y'all will, cause you was ready, sis. You was ready.
The 2020 pandemic
I'm
that
so
shook the
mad that
world
man
affected
discouraged
everyone
my
in
good
different
sis.
ways. Some met financial insecurity. Others faced the social struggles brought by isolation during stringent lockdown regulations. Most faced extreme health complication, either with ourselves or with our loved ones. My name is Jason. I was 27 when the pandemic hit. I lived alone in a small apartment and struggled emotionally when my municipality forced me to remain inside for weeks. I was forced to work remotely, stuck behind a computer monitor all day.
I think I seen this one.
I was unable to visit my family, and to make matters worse, I was unable to release stress the only way I knew how, working out.
You can work
At
out at
last,
home.
after months of feeling caged up, my city began to lift COVID-related regulations. The softening of rules included the reopening of gyms. As long as stations were sanitized constantly, masks were worn, and social distancing was respected, we were allowed to return to the gym. Finally. That Monday morning, I was the first in line outside of my local
Look
gym,
at y'all.
eager to get back
Not
to
even
work
social
and
distancing
regain
in
my
the
great
line.
physical condition. Upon entering, I felt right at home, despite changes that were being implemented. I hopped on a treadmill and began jogging. My stress began melting off. The next few weeks were paradise. I was working from home, allowing me more time for myself. I instantly used this time up at the gym. There, I felt rejuvenated. Every visit left me feeling stronger, both physically and mentally. Before long, I was going in 2 times a day, once in the morning and once late at night. It was late at night when things began to get strange. My gym was open 24 hours a day.
They're going there up in the morning.
During my morning workouts, the gym was always booming with people. Like me, most of us were hungry for workouts after being deprived for months. Every machine and weight station was taken, often lines for each. The gym was full of life, and I loved it. At night, the gym was the polar opposite. It was always deserted, and I often found myself alone in the entire gym with only the receptionist, a guy named Bill, watching me drowsily from his desk. I had
So he
every
ain't watching
machine,
you, he's
weight
sleeping.
station, and facility to myself. During one late workout session, I stared mindlessly at the television while running on the treadmill. I blasted music through my headphones. Beside the television, a large mirror covered the entire northern wall, where most meatheads fixed and admired their muscles during the day. Sweat dripped off my forehead. That was when something caught the corner of my peripheral vision. Through the reflection, I saw a shadow sweep behind me, causing my heart rate to accelerate even more. I
Demon.
turned to look back, but the gym remained empty. Just then, the soft click of a door closing caused me to jerk my head back. Had someone entered the locker rooms? Or had I imagined that? I rushed to the front desk. "Hey, Bill," I asked, trying to sound natural. "You haven't seen anyone else in the gym tonight, have you?" He shrugged at me. "Not since a few hours before you arrived." He returned his attention to his phone. Surely I had imagined it. But the next night, something similar happened again. It was 2 a.m. The gym was deserted, except for Bill and me. I had finished a brutal cardio session and moved on to the dumbbell station. I placed my phone on a nearby bench next to my towel, bottle of water, and a half-eaten protein bar. I began my workout. 1, 2, 3, 4. I whispered sharply into the silence of the gym.
Boy.
Exhaustion took over as I approached the end of my set. That's when the gym lights began to flicker.
Demon.
I placed the weights down and looked up at the light bulbs. Bill?" I asked. The receptionist stared back at me from a distance, shrugging. Then, everything went dark. I stood for a moment, wondering what was going on. I realized I could use my phone as a flashlight, and I began to walk carefully towards the bench. As I did, I heard footsteps around me, brisk and light.
You gotta start swinging in a circle.
Listening intently into the darkness. Accompanying the scattered footsteps was raspy breathing. "Okay, Bill, what the hell is going on?" But before I could finish the sentence, a great force pushed me from behind, sending me flying forward onto the darkness. I landed on my stomach harshly. I began to get back to my feet, but excruciating pain broke out throughout my torso. I recoiled to the fetal position as something hit my rib. On the ground, another blow hit my face. I heard my nose crack on impact, and instantly, the warm feeling of blood trickled down my face.
Beating the shit out ya.
I laid on the ground, covering my head. Only a few seconds passed when the lights turned back on. Holy shit! What the hell happened to you, man?
He got fucked up
Bill.
And you was just sitting right there.
I saw him standing at the other end of the gym. What happened? My first thought was that Bill had attacked me, but there was no way he could have navigated the entirety of the gym in absolute darkness in a few seconds.
So he works
I laid
there.
my head back, tilting it away from the pool of blood that had formed
I
from
would
my
have
broken
blamed
nose.
him. I'm sorry, Jack.
What
You would have gotten
had
blamed,
happened?
sir. Cause fuck is you doing?
After a few weeks of light therapy, I was cleared by my doctor to return to the
I'm
gym.
putting my phone down.
I was happy to be back,
I'm so sorry.
but was on high alert.
I just
Something
didn't
odd
know.
was going on at that gym, and I was going to be ready. I returned that
Ready,
evening
boy,
for
shut
my
up.
usual
You
2
ain't gonna
a.m.
be ready for
workout.
nothing.
But this time, I was prepared. In the pocket of my running shorts, I gripped a small taser.
Okay,
If someone was going to mess with me, they
But how
were
you
going to
how
suffer.
you gonna do anything when
I
they
finished my
turn the
cardio
lights
and
off
moved
and
on to the
push
weight
you over
station.
and all that?
I lifted
stuff.
very light weights as instructed by the doctor and stayed highly alert. Once again, only Bill and I were in the gym. Right on cue, the lights began flickering. Between darkness and bright lights, I saw Bill begin to look towards the ceiling. "Bring it on," I whispered and gripped my taser in my shorts. Finally, the lights went out, and I stood in complete darkness one more time. But nothing else occurred. The lights came back on. "I'm sorry about that," he began. "Something's up with the lights.
Why are you
They've been
sorry?
doing that since, well, that night." The grip on my taser lessened. My adrenaline began to wear off, and I decided to call it a night. I
Boy.
headed for the locker rooms for a shower.
Ugh.
Cold water rained down on my head and streamed down my face. I was
After
lost
you
in
just got
thought,
attacked in
wondering
there, you
who
ain't
or
gonna
what
take a shower?
had
You
caused
gonna
my
just take a
injuries in the
shower?
dark. I stared blankly at the floor, the sound of pounding water around me, lost in my thoughts, when I was suddenly brought back to reality. The locker room fell pitch black as all of the lights snapped off. It was happening again. Panicking,
Why
I
is it
realized my
only
taser
happening
was in
to
my
you?
locker outside of the showers. I quickly turned off the water, put on my underwear and t-shirt, and navigated my way through the darkness. "Hello, Jason," came an eerie voice in the dark, echoing through the empty locker room's metal perimeter.
You gonna beat your ass again?
"I've been waiting a long time for this." Suddenly, a spark of light ignited the room. At first, I thought it was a match or a lighter, but the sound emitted corrected me. It was my own taser. "Looking for this?" The light emitted,
Not
lit up the
really,
face
I
of my
wasn't
attacker
looking for him,
partially.
but I would love it.
I couldn't recognize him, but he looked to be a middle-aged man. He dashed toward me, stabbing the taser forward. I dodged the attack,
better move,
swing left,
you're wet.
but his other fist came crashing onto my face from the darkness.
Damn.
I stumbled back, giving him the chance to bring 30,000 volts of electricity on my left rib. As the taser dug into my side, my body flailed sharply on itself.
Exactly.
I lost control of all my limbs, and my wet body came tumbling to the ground.
Wet body.
The taser came down
crazy.
one more time. I began to lose consciousness.
These kids,
As I faded
trying
away,
to kill you. What
I
you do
heard
to this man?
distant screams. The muffled sounds were the last things I heard as I floated away into unconsciousness.
Is that man that be up in there with you?
I woke up in a hospital bed a few hours later. Bill sat on a chair next to me,
Bill.
and after thanking the stars that I was alive, he explained the
He didn't
situation.
want to get sued.
He said my attacker's name was Isaac White. I instantly recognized the name, causing me to connect the dots before he finished the story. Mr. White was an employee of mine. He always had a terrible attitude, and I sensed a strong resentment that I was his boss. Despite being over a decade younger than him, I had to let him go at the end of 2020. He begged me to give him another chance, imploring me to think of his wife and kids. But the situation came from my higher-ups. So you see, Bill finished, he always blamed you for what happened. Apparently, the police said he had been homeless for a few months. His wife and him had split up during the pandemic, and he was alone, without a place to live and
Why'd
without
you
a
put
job.
him out?
He blamed
Knowing
you
that the
for
damn sickness is
everything.
outside.
He was the one that had been cutting the power at the gym for weeks. When it last happened, I knew you were in the locker rooms alone. I grabbed my phone's flashlight and rushed to help you.
After
That's when
got
I found
punched
him
in the
standing
face
over your unconscious
and
body.
tased
I am
twice.
forever thankful towards Bill for saving my life.
And as
I have
we
since
see,
then
he's still
switched
beating the
gyms,
shit out of
but
him.
have kept a strong friendship with him. Since that occurrence, I have made it a priority to always stay vigilant and aware of everyone around me. I learned the
Boy,
hard way that if
you
you
are
let your
unaware
guard
too, though.
down for one moment, it may cost you your life.
He's about to beat the shit out of you 2 times. Second time he tased you. And you just
This
got out
happened
the
to me
shower.
on the 7th of July, 2009. A few weeks before this, I had been told by my doctors that I had an overeating problem and that I really needed to lose weight. It wasn't the first time I had been told this, as almost everyone around me had said the same thing. I tried to
But,
lose weight
like,
by joining a gym, but I never finished
whose
the gym's
business is
program
that,
as I
though, for
always
real?
quit halfway through. This time, my doctors told me that it was getting really dangerous for my health and that I really needed to do something about it before it was too late.
Oh, okay.
I knew I really needed to change, but I didn't know how to do it. As I knew that even if I joined a gym now, it wouldn't be any different from the last time, as I would just quit before the program was over. But that night, when I was browsing through the internet, I saw an ad that read, "Have you been having difficulties with losing weight? Or are you always giving up when you..."
My good Uncle Kev had said something recently, and he was like, I want to work out by people who look like me, because if you're smaller than me, then you're going to try to do, you're going to try to get me to do stuff that you do at your size, and I'm not that size. And it makes sense. So I'm just saying that to say with the weight issues that this person has been having, to go and y'all see the skinny bitch in the thing with the muscles, like, sir, you're not there, you're not at that. You can find a gym that's good for you, just not that one. I wouldn't suggest that one for you. I know it's about to be some bullshit. Like, what was it? Y'all be careful, cause what, I did a yoga story, and what, they were stretching them out, just like they be overworking people, overstretching people too, and cussing and insulting as well. That girl killed that man. I'll tag it at the end of this so y'all can watch it.
Have you been having difficulties with losing weight?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you always giving up on your gym program before reaching your desired goal? Then apply now to Elite Gym, as we will not train just your body, but your mind as well. Remember, you may quit on yourself, but we will never quit on you. When I was done reading the ad, I thought it was just another advertisement ploy that most of these gyms use to get you to sign up for their membership. But something told me that this was different, and I knew that trying it out was better than doing nothing. So I decided to sign up for their program the next day. The next day, I made my way to the gym's location, and when I got there, I was confused. For starters, the gym's building wasn't like the regular ones I'd seen in the past, as the Elite Gym was located in a very shady warehouse.
You see?
At first,
They about
I
to
thought I
lock
had been
your
given
ass
the wrong
up in there.
address, but when I walked into the building, all my doubts were cleared as soon as I saw the numerous assortment of treadmills and dumbbells. I walked up to the reception and I told them I wanted to join the gym. The manager, Mr. Ian Dominic, then gave me a piece of paper to sign. I remember asking,
Did you read it?
"What's this about and why do I need to sign it?" Mr. Ian looked at me and
If you asking motherfucking questions, boy, read the paper. Don't y'all be out here signing nothing and not reading it. Gonna make me mad. You just signed your life away to that gym. Now they about to lock your ass up in there until you get fit. Ooh, you make me sick. Just up in there, just doing whatever you want, however you want. Now you about to get snatched up and it's about to be your fault. Don't complain.
said, "I don't know if you've noticed, Mr. Eric Jefferson, but we aren't like the other gyms you've been to. At
He
the Elite
noticed.
Gym, we
He
always
noticed.
strive to fulfill our promises by making sure each one of our clients gets the desired results that they have been looking for.
Okay, but what
The
does
signing
that
of this
mean, though?
paper
What's on the
just
paper?
gives us the right to use the more effective and advanced methods of training. If
So that means they're
the
gonna
regular
beat your
training
ass.
program ever fails."
They're gonna beat your ass if you.
I
decide
hadn't been
to
one to
leave
read
or
through
something.
any paperwork, and at the time, it really looked like this gym was the answer to all of my problems, as they all looked like they knew what they were doing. So after brushing through the contract, I signed it with a smile on my face.
You ain't even reading.
When the
You're
registration
there
was done,
smiling.
I was assigned a personal trainer.
Look at
He
that
was a
scary
huge
ass
man called
man.
Troy, and I was
Yo.
told that he will be the perfect person
And
to
you
make
can't
sure
leave.
I finished my gym program. The training started the next day, as Troy came to my house in the morning. He didn't allow me to have any meals on my own, as he cleaned out my fridge and took me to a healthy restaurant for every breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When we weren't eating, we were undergoing this rigorous exercise, and by the end of the first week, I knew I had made the right choice joining this gym.
Okay.
But as more time passed, I started losing my determination. My body couldn't take it anymore, and I knew that it was just a matter of time before I quit. One night, after a healthy dinner with Troy, I snuck out to one of the nearby fast food restaurants as my body was really craving some junk food.
He's gonna beat.
I managed to get my order to go, and as I made my way home, I realized I was being followed. Alarmed,
Beat the shit
I
out of
tried to make a run for it, but the strange man who was following me quickly caught up with me. I was about to scream before I realized that the man who had been following me was Troy. I remember heaving a sigh of relief as I said,
Why are you
"Whoa,
relieved?
dude, you really scared me back there.
He's
I
gonna
thought you
beat
were a
the shit
random
out of
stranger
you."
who wanted to attack me." Troy, who now had an angry look on his face, ignored my statement as he said, "What are you doing getting junk food, Eric?" Ashamed, I realized what I had done, so I said, "Look, I'm really sorry, man, but I really need this right now. I promise you that it's just this one burger, and I'll get back to training tomorrow. Come on, dude. One burger can't really hurt our progress." With no hesitation,
He hit you.
Troy then punched me in the jaw.
What'd I
The
say?
food I ordered fell onto the floor, and I watched as Troy stomped on it while saying, "I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again, Eric, or else." Now, after being with them for a while, I knew that the people at the Elite Gym were always serious about making sure that their clients reached their desired goals. But this was taking it a bit too
What
far,
goal
and
did you put on
physical
the
assaults
paper?
was where I draw the line. So I said,
Where you draw the line, boy? You signed the paper. You didn't read it. It said on there, whoever you're assigned with. Whoever you're assigned with gets to beat your ass if you try to escape, quit, or cheat. That's what it said. It said it in the fine print. And you ain't read it. Now who are you mad at? Who are you gonna call, boy? You can't call no one. They're going to say the same thing. Boy, shut up. You signed the paper. Now you gotta go to 12. And 12 might even tell your ass you signed an agreement. Did you read through it? Now you gotta get a lawyer to get out of this. You gotta go to courts. 12 can't help you, you gotta go to courts.
Can get a bit too far, and physical assaults was where I draw the line. So I said,
There is no
screw
line.
this, Troy, and screw your gym too. I quit. First
And he
thing in the
hit you
morning,
again.
I'm going to the police station to report you for assault.
And he hit you
When
again.
I was done ranting, I stormed off angrily, leaving Troy behind. My lip was bleeding, so I stopped by the pharmacy on my way home to get some things to clean up the cut. I remember feeling a lot of emotions that night, as I wasn't too proud that I quit, but the anger I felt against Troy made me feel little to no remorse as I told myself I could always join another gym. When I finally got home, I opened my door to see Troy sitting down in my living room, waiting for me. Scared now, I said, "What are you doing in my house, you psycho?
Boy,
Didn't you
it's
hear
all
me
in
when I
the
said that? I
contract.
quit?" Troy then calmly looked at me before saying, "That's the thing, Eric. The word quitting doesn't exist in our gym. And besides, it's time for you to start your advanced training." I had come to the conclusion that Troy had gone crazy,
Now he's about to
so I
overwork
decided
you.
to call the cops. But before I could, numerous
you
arms
again.
grabbed me, and the last thing I saw that night was a white cloth being pressed onto my face.
Oh.
I woke up a couple of hours later in a place that I didn't recognize. As I took in my surroundings, I realized that I was in what looked like a makeshift cell. The first person I saw was the elite gym manager, Mr. Ian.
Don't ask
I told him
for
to
help.
let me go, but he looked at me with a smile and said, "I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Eric Jefferson, but I'm afraid I can't let you do that. You signed a contract that gave us the right to proceed with the more effective and advanced training if
That's what I said.
the usual one ever failed."
That's
I
what
was angry
said.
now, so I said, "Whatever I signed, I'm sure it doesn't give you people the right to kidnap and force me into this sick and messed up training. And I can assure you that once I get out of here, I'm bringing the cops to shut this psychotic gym down."
And now you gonna die.
Mr. Ian then smiled as he said, "You are free to do whatever you want after the training is
About to
done,
die.
Mr. Eric. But as I said, the day you signed up for this gym, we will
I
do
love
anything to get you the desired results, whether you like it or not." I wanted to retort back with something, but Mr. Ian cut me off as he continued with, "You see, Mr. Eric, I believe that I was put on this world to turn people that have been led astray back to their rightful form. Excessive greed has made humans pollute their bodies with poisonous foods, and I opened this gym to correct that mistake. It's never been about the money, Mr. Eric, but about the good work that we are doing here, and I know that you will thank me by the time your training is over."
Anybody that looks like
That
they
day
got a
marked
body
the
coming
beginning
out
of
of their
something
neck,
horrible,
that extra
as
neck
my life
muscle
became a
meat,
living hell after that.
you can't
The
believe
activities they called training were nothing but extreme torture. I was whipped when I didn't exercise, as they told me that I had to be treated like a cow to make any progress.
them. That's crazy.
When I wasn't exercising, I was kept and starved in a small cell. The starvation made me lose more weight than the exercise itself, as I was given little to no food. In a messed up way, I realized why they called this torture an effective and advanced method of training, as I realized that without the option of quitting, the human mind would do anything to reach the desired goal. Some days were really horrific, and I really wanted to die. I made numerous attempts to kill myself, but I was always restrained before I went too far. After a couple of months,
crazy.
I was
That's so
released
upsetting.
as they
Bro.
dropped me off on the street. I managed to make my way home, and I came to realize that my family and friends had reported me as a missing person.
Ugh.
I was given some time to regain my strength and sanity before I spoke to the cops. I told them everything that they needed to know, starting with the gym's location.
And watch that shit be gone.
I knew I was going to be forever scarred by what I experienced under those psychopaths. So I comforted myself with the fact that I was going to get justice. But in the following weeks, I received some really bad news that made me realize that I couldn't even get the justice I deserved.
Because they're gone.
The cops told me that no one was at the warehouse where the elite gym was located. They
People are gonna
said
be
they
there,
managed to
boy.
question the owner of the building, but he said that the people who rented the space were long gone.
I'm gone.
A warrant was put out for Mr. Ian and Troy's arrest, but they haven't been found till this very day.
Cause y'all over there signing contracts and shit that y'all don't know nothing
Before we
about.
begin,
Y'all piss me all the way off. All the way, all the way, all the way off. Cause ain't no reason for y'all to be doing no crazy shit like that. No way. Don't you sign no motherfucking paperwork without reading without reading it. Y'all just signing contracts, ain't reading nothing? Nothing. Mm-mm. Let me see. Oh. So the second one and this fourth one. Those are my favorites. So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Y'all be reading stuff before y'all sign it, right? Y'all read it? Make sure you read everything. Every little thing. Even the little shit that pop up on your phone. Those cookies and shit, make sure you read them cookies. Let me know which one was your favorite. The second one was my favorite because that man really made it a mission to kill the daughter of the woman that his daddy killed. That's just a lot to me. And I love a good rescue story. The men came and ain't play no games. And then this last one, I enjoyed it because I knew it. I knew that man was gonna snatch his ass up because ain't nobody tell you to just be signing shit without reading it. But until next time, you guys. Bye bye. I love you.